Just look at me now. Just look at me now. Just look at me now. Rise up on me, take a look at me now. Just look at me now. What's the price to go Just look at me now. Rise up on me, take a look at me now.
Takes on the strike. Nice body.
Look at me now.
Chelsea are champions.
Look at me now.
Good evening. We have got 4 Barclays Women's Super League matches to bring you this Easter Sunday, and just who will win the first trophy on offer this season. Here's what's coming up on the Women's Football Show. The most decorated sides in women's football battled it out in the FA Continental League Cup final between Arsenal and Chelsea, but who came out on top? With Emma Hayes' side out of league action, could Manchester City capitalise against Liverpool to claim top spot on the table? And in the red side of Manchester United hoped they could maintain their unbeaten record against Everton. Welcome along to the programme, and alongside me to review the action are 2 legends of the game. 360 WSL appearances between them, a fearsome duo in defence, Gilly Flaherty and Keris Harrop. But there is only one place to start, with the Conti Cup final between 2 heavyweights, Chelsea and Arsenal. Between them, they have lifted this trophy in 8 of the last 12 seasons. Would this one go the way of last year?
It is the League Cup final with Arsenal and Chelsea. Dream start, and of course it's Sam Kerr. Blackstenius has equalised, and what a game we have on our hands already here. Great feat from Katie McCabe. It's definitely a penalty. Brilliant pressure penalty from the Gunners skipper. Goodness me! Well might the Blues shake their head. 1-0 up, 3-1 down in the League Cup final. Arsenal are trophy winners again.
Stina Blackstenius, it's a hat-trick. The holders make it through to the final.
Lauren James puts Chelsea in front. Chelsea are into the Conti Cup final.
Well, watching on to see who could get their hands on the trophy were Rachel Brown-Finnis and Robin Cowan.
For Arsenal, it's one change from the WSL win over Aston Villa. Stina Blackstenius, who has scored 8 goals in 5 appearances in this competition, is preferred to Alessia Russo. Captain Kim Little has won 6 Continental Cups with Arsenal. She scored in the final last season in the win over Chelsea. Arsenal have revenge in mind after they were heavily beaten in the league by Chelsea at Stamford Bridge earlier this month, ending any lingering title hopes. 6 changes from Chelsea's midweek draw over Ajax, which secured their place in the semi-finals of the Champions League. Hannah Hampton returns in goal. Niamh Charles captains the side tonight, and she comes in to replace Ashley Lawrence. Mayra Ramirez leads the line, having scored in every competition since her January switch from Levante, apart from the Continental Cup. Lauren James is Chelsea's top scorer with 15 goals in all competitions. She scored the winner in the semi-final against Manchester City, which got them to Molineux. Might spin for James, she gets there first, gets the touch, away from Wubben-Moy, it's James. First effort on goal, turned aside by Zinsberger.
It's far too easy. Good positioning from Zinsberger, and a pretty standard save for Zinsberger. But switch off at your peril.
A bit of a swing from McCabe. Wubben-Moy clears up. Here's Ramirez! What a strike! Chelsea strike first in the Continental Cup final.
VAR will check it, and I'm sure, looking at that replay, the goal will be ruled out. A handball, clear as day. plays the ball forward to Ramirez, and that'll be chalked off.
Sometimes, if it's an assist, you do get away with those. If it's just it hits you on the arm and then it's been put in the net. But let's see. No goal. We're back all square. Erin Cuthbert with a handball. So we come to the right decision. Mead failing against the better of Charles. Fox on the front foot. Mornham trying to work the space. Here's McCabe. Goes for goal! And pushed over the top by Hampton.
Just warming up this game. You knew that as soon as Katie McCabe got hold of that ball, that's exactly what she was going to do. It's what everybody wanted her to do.
It's heading towards Wubben-Moy, who was getting set. It's Wubben-Moy! That looked close.
Well, she's had a scoring boost this season, hasn't she? This one just sat out beautifully. It's not far wide. Hannah Hampton looked like she was beaten.
That's given away. Here's Pelova. Chloe Lacasse! Saved by Hampton. The clearest opportunity of this second half.
See here, turnover driven through, and this should be in the back of the net. We see Hannah Hampton's position. She comes off a line, she's 3 yards out, she makes the goal look small. She doesn't go down at the feet because it's a tight touch from Lacasse. Doesn't have a license to do so, stands up and waits for the save and gets down smartly.
And Blackstenius putting Hampton under pressure. Charles. Kadina in the way. Brighton keeps it going for Lauren James. She's in behind. It's James!
Brilliant save. Zinsberger did brilliantly well. How on earth Lauren James got herself so free? Guru Wrighton finds it beautifully, and that touch out of her feet towards goal is excellent. You see Nusken in the middle, absolutely howling for it. The square ball could have been on, but Zinsberger spreads herself brilliantly.
Oh, play's going to be stopped here. There's a player down, and this looks serious. So the medical team have been called on very, very quickly here. It is Frida Mornham who is the player down. All our thoughts with Frida Mornham and her friends, and of course her family who might be watching. Alessia Russo will replace her. And a very positive update we have on Frida Mornham. She is conscious, talking, and well, being looked after. So a massive relief.
Yeah, that is the only news that I was listening out for.
Blackstenius is through here. It's Stina Blackstenius. Just lost all composure at the vital moment.
And that's exactly what it did need, wasn't it? A cool head.
Catley. Ford. Australian connection in full force again. It's Blackstenius. Surely wins it for Arsenal. Red hot joy from the Arsenal end.
Redemption. Blackstenius, a glaring miss, but a lovely move. A driving run from Ford. Jess Carter has to drop, break the offside line to be able to try and track her. Kelly Ford gets inside the box. Blackstenius does well. It's not the cleanest, not the most precise of finish, but it will do. It's the moment that has broken the deadlock. The Arsenal fans are on their feet.
All over. Arsenal beat Chelsea again for the second consecutive year to win the Continental Cup. Chelsea dreams of a quadruple in tatters. This was Arsenal's only chance of a trophy, and they have taken it. Full time at Molineux. Arsenal 1, Chelsea 0. And the trophy will be presented to Captain Kim Little by Peter Robb of Continental Tires. It was the only chance of silver they've taken it. Arsenal Continental Cup champions.
Obviously, I'm really happy about the win, but also so tired. But it was a long game, a tough game. But we got a win in the end, and now we can just celebrate it with the fans.
I think we had a lot of plans today. I think we were adaptable as a team, and that was good. And I think that's a reason why we come off on the good side of it today.
It's a tough loss. There was nothing between the two teams. I didn't think it was a high-quality game, to be honest with you. And maybe the chance just before the end of the second half was our big chance. They took theirs, and they're winners.
There was an altercation between you and Onus late on. What was your take on what happened?
I think there's a way to behave on the side of the pitch, and not for the first time. You know, I've been in women's football a long time. I don't think we should tolerate male aggression like we did today, and you know, fronting up or squaring up to a player is something that's unacceptable. And I've never been booked in 12 years of my career, but I think there's a way to behave on the touchline, and obviously we received a yellow card and perhaps should have got more.
Those words by Emma are strong. How does it make you feel to have yourself described as being aggressive?
To be honest, I can't really take it seriously. I can't really take it seriously.
How is Frida Maanum, and what can you tell us about what happened?
I don't know what happened. Obviously, it looked quite scary in that moment, but we have a great medical team and we trust them. And the update that I have been given is that everything is good with Frida here now. So that's obviously the most important thing.
Yeah, the most important thing from that game, Frida Maanum, that she's okay. We have had an update from Arsenal. This social media post here saying she's conscious, talking, in a stable condition, and will be monitored closely by the medical team. That came actually as the match was still ongoing, and I know that Jonas Eidevall has spoken to Frida Maanum after the game as well. And Keris, if we start with that, because it's such a big thing to happen, and you saw the reaction of the ground, the players, such a tough moment really for everybody there today.
It is. I think when it happened, the atmosphere went very sombre. It was obviously quite serious. I think just the nature of how she went down, it wasn't a contact injury. So I think naturally as players, you think the worst. I think we've both been there, whether it's someone's gone down off the ball or, you know, you think a serious injury has happened. It's never nice to see. But yeah, just really pleased that, you know, she's back conscious and she's talking. And yeah, I think everyone in the women's football world will be really pleased to hear that.
Yeah, lots of well wishes towards Frida Maanum. We'll see how that recovery goes, and obviously we'll keep you right up to date on the BBC about that. Let's look at the match then, and we'll start off with what was the winning goal. Really nice as well that it came from Blackstenius, who's good friends with Maanum.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think defensively from Chelsea it's a little bit poor. I think the back line get really dragged over. Caitlin Ford does really well with what her strength is driving into the box, and I think Khadija Buchanan, she switches off a little bit. She gets dragged to the ball. She ball watches. She's not really got an idea after this, but here where Blackstenius is. Yes, Arsenal do get a little bit of the luck where it bounced off of Erin Cuthbert, but you've got to be able to have that composure like Blackstenius does here. It sets up nicely for her. She keeps battling. Hannah Hampton did put on Twitter something about how she was disappointed. She felt like she'd let the club down a little bit with the save. I think she felt she could have done better with it, but you know, in that moment there, tired bodies. But Arsenal do get a bit of luck, and Blackstenius puts it away.
Yeah, another County Cup title for Arsenal. A lot of people will be talking about that altercation at the end of the match. I think we should get to it and talk through it. You know, Emma Hayes coming out afterwards saying that, you know, we shouldn't have to tolerate male aggression. But with Jonas Eidevall, he was talking about the situation that had come up during the week about whether they have a multi-ball match or a one-ball match.
Yeah, I think it's all a bit tit for tat, and you know, Emma's talked about him being aggressive, and as you can see there from the replay, she's actually been quite aggressive towards him. So I think they're both just very passionate coaches. Jonas especially, he's very animated, and I think just with the nature of the game, and they both want to win the cup final. Obviously, Emma wants to win to try and get the quadruple. So I think, you know, she'd admit herself that she was quite unhappy, I guess, about the result.
And that incident that we saw with Erin Cuthbert on the sideline, that was because Jonas had said, you know, Chelsea wanted a one-ball match. They had wanted a multi-ball, and that it was Erin Cuthbert was trying to take that ball quickly, and that's what he was angry or annoyed about.
Yeah, because obviously Chelsea had requested that they want just a one-ball game, and then obviously the ball goes out, Erin's trying to get it back in quickly, and that's what you see Jonas say, no, you wanted that, so you get the one ball. So you can understand that. For me, the way I heard about it on social media was if he got in Erin's face, and it was a bit it didn't seem like that from the replay that we just saw. So I think Keris is right. It's a little bit tit for tat. There's a lot of emotions, you know, lots at stake for both clubs as well, and there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's look then. I know we talk a lot about VAR, you know, its place in the game, men's or women's, and today for Arsenal in particular, they will be happy that this was ruled out.
Yeah, I think looking back, you know, the VAR has been really useful in this instance, and it's the right decision. I think Erin's tried to kind of keep her arm straight to guide it in front of her, and it's a real shame because it's a great finish from Ramirez, but as you can see here, she kind of just keeps her arm down, cushions it forward. But let's take nothing away from Ramirez. It was a fantastic finish. It's a real shame for her that it didn't count, but yeah, I think, you know, it was the right decision, and Cheryl Foster's obviously given it there and made it clear that it was the right decision.
What about Chelsea then today, Gilly? Do you think they looked a little bit tired off the pace, because they are, up until this moment, in 4 competitions. They were competing in midweek in Champions League. Did it take its toll?
Yeah, I think in midweek they made a lot of changes, but it wasn't an easy game against Ajax. You know, it was a competitive game. They then obviously made changes and brought players on, but I do think it will naturally take its toll. And I think even all the games that Arsenal and Chelsea have played against each other this season, they've all been different. They've all been completely different matches, and this was probably one of the most staler games out of the ones that they've played. So I think both teams didn't want to give much away. There's a lot of pressure. It's a cup, but yeah, I do think you can see the fatigue is setting in for them.
OK, Arsenal, the champions, and with Chelsea out of league action, there was an opportunity this weekend for Manchester City to pile the pressure on at the top of the table. They were taking on Liverpool, and Ben Andrews watched this one.
3 Liverpool changes from a rather drab draw at Everton last weekend. Movement at wing-backs with captain Hines back on the bench following a couple of months out, while Koivisto is fit to play. There are plenty of X-factors on the go today on both sides. Gemma Bonner is back in the middle of the back 3 for Niamh Fahy. She was a cup winner with City before becoming a league winner with Liverpool. And at both clubs, she played alongside Alex Greenwood, the rock at the back for City, and that position very much in the news at the moment. Only one change from Gareth Taylor. There are rarely many more than that, if any. Laia Alexandri, who was injured in the warm-up last weekend, comes straight back in, but fellow Spaniard Leila Wahabi hasn't made it. So a little rejig there at left-back, and Mary Fowler therefore continuing for the benched Chloe Kelly. Respects being paid today. Liverpool's final home game before the 35th anniversary of the Hillsborough disaster. And obviously nowhere more keenly felt than in this part of the world. It's a great take from Hasegawa. Superb. All started by City's midfield glue. Fowler one-on-one with Parry for the first time. Park. Good hit, big deflection. That made the law stop good, but it's still there for Hebb, who's buried it. First good move of the game, and it results In advantage, Manchester City. Lauren Hemp. Massive pat on the back for Yui Hasegawa, though. Dealt with that pressure so well. The pass was excellent. Ditto from Bunny Shaw. Manchester City are top of the league. Could have gone anywhere via that deflection off Gemma Bonner. Rachel Laws will feel that fortune has not smiled upon her there. Very calmly tucked away by Lauren Hemp. Here's Fowler. Was a good layoff. And Park skipping round the challenges and firing in for 2-0. What a time it is to be Jess Park. Maybe the best young player in this division this season. Scored her first WSL goals for Manchester City last week in the Derby win, and she's put daylight between City and Liverpool here. Helped create the first, scores the second. Massive goal at the top of the WSL table. Two great moves in the game, both from Manchester City, and they've both brought goals. That is clinical. And doors can close for some and open for others. Jill Roord brought in by Manchester City for this season, essentially to play in that position, and was doing so until a bad knee injury. There's Bunny Shaw. Goodness me! Roofs it for 3-0. Chelsea hoping for a slip. It's not coming here. Manchester City in 10 minutes have taken Liverpool apart. The league's top scorer scores all kinds of goals. This is up there with the very best of them. Title nerves, Manchester City? Not a bit of it. Wow. 7.5 minutes from 0-0 to 3-0. Hasegawa. Kasparai. Fowler. Lovely way to pass from Mary Fowler. Well defended, Taylor Hines with her first meaningful action. It's a strong sprint and a good challenge. Manchester City have a corner. Alex Greenwood would often take these, but not now. Fowler on duty so far in this game from this wing, and that's a great delivery. Bunny Shaw's got another one. Just like last week, right at the start of the second half. She's in above both Fisk and Hines. She's won it easily. She's headed it in easily. Liverpool 0, Manchester City 4. Game over. Taylor Hines stepping in on Chloe Kelly. And allowed to run. Taylor Hines just keeps on going and scores a stunning goal for the second time this season against Manchester City. It's a wonderful goal. It's not going to count for any points, but even so, last appearance was against Man City and she scored. I suspect this one is going to be taken away from her. It will actually be a Keating own goal, that. Well, it's a big win in every sense. And it was on the cards right from the moment that Gareth Taylor's side scored 3 times in fewer than 8 first-half minutes. A puff of the cheeks from Matt Beard. His side have been undone. Manchester City go 3 points clear. For now, Chelsea not in league action this weekend. And a little bit extra on the goal difference as well. Full time at Prenton Park. Liverpool 1, Manchester City 4.
I thought we started the game really well. I thought we was the dominant team, especially the first 10-15 minutes. We've had a mad 10 minutes after we've conceded the first goal. And then we never... You've got a mountain to climb then against teams like Manchester City.
There were some good goals today. Obviously theirs is good as well, not for our point of view, but the second goal was magic for us in terms of everything that we are about, and the identity that we tried to play with was finished off really well by Jess.
I think they'll win it. I think they deserve to win it. I think they've been the best team this year. I think Gareth's done a fantastic job, and I think they'll go on and win it.
Well, he's backing Manchester City. Another big win for them. Great performances all around the park, but Bunny Shaw, she's just in a league of her own this season, Gilly.
Yeah, she has. I think she's been clinical. She's popped up with a lot of goals for Manchester City, but here, obviously, the power behind that strike. And I just think the confidence. You know, I think sometimes before, when she came to the WSL as a sort of keeper in the box, like to get the headed goals or to get the tap-ins, but she's now bringing so much more to her game, and I think it's really difficult. Obviously, I've marked her, Kerry's has marked her. She's a very difficult player to mark, and you know, there's only so much that you can physically do as a player, but she's in fine form.
Yeah, she absolutely is. One thing for Manchester City is that they've conceded goals late on in the last couple of games, and we know this title race could come down to goal difference, Gareth.
Yeah, the stat is that they concede most of their goals in the last 10 minutes, the same today against Liverpool. So yeah, it's something they need to be very conscious of. It's going to go so close to the end of the season. Take nothing away from Taylor Hines, it's a great strike, and she'll be really pleased with that one off her right foot. I'd still take it as my goal. I know it's come off Keating, but I'd definitely be claiming that one. But from a Man City point of view, yeah, they need to stop giving away sloppy goals like this, because it could really count towards the end of the season. You know, they're only one goal ahead of Chelsea. Chelsea have got the game in hand, and we know Chelsea score a lot of goals in their games. So, yeah, I think for Man City, you just need to keep on scoring, but trying to concede those sloppy goals, certainly those last 10 minutes.
So Matt Beard is backing Manchester City. Who are you backing?
Oh, you can't. I'm currently sitting on the fence right now. I can't see it.
Get off that fence now, Julie. Get off the fence.
No, I mean, I'd like City to win it, but for me, I would like it to go down to the last day. That's what I want. Last day drama. Yeah. You know, two games going on at the same time. Like, no one knows what's going on. That's a bit of me.
Yeah,
I tried my best to get you off the fence.
I'm off the fence. I'm going to go with Man City. Yeah, I think they've got a better run of games, so yeah, I'll go with them.
There we go. Oh, wonderful stuff. Well, time as well to mention and to talk about one of the Manchester City players, Steph Horton, because she announced her retirement this week. This one of the many trophies that she has lifted over the course of her illustrious career. FA Cup back in 2019. Such a huge and influential figure within the game, Julie. You know, just how do you think people will remember her?
For me, she was just a leader. You know, obviously I played with her at Arsenal. She just set such high standards for everybody. When she was playing, when she wasn't playing. I think obviously when I got into the England senior team, she was the first player to put her arm around you to make sure you felt comfortable with anything you needed. And I think obviously just looking at her stats, she's been consistent for Man City. Even when she's not been playing the last two years or so, she's been such an ever-presence in the squad, you know, leadership. Yeah. And she's left the shirt in a much better place.
Yeah, she absolutely has.
I think for me, my memories of her of the Olympics, London 2012 Olympics, she scored a few good free kicks. And I think, you know, we talk about role models off the pitch. I mean, that was the real kind of growth, I guess, of the women's game. Certainly has been the last few years, but that was a pivotal moment where, you know, home Olympics and young girls watching someone like Steph, who did so well in that tournament. That's certainly what I remember her for anyway. So
yeah, brilliant stuff. Well, we wish her well with the future, and we also wish Ellie Roebuck well, because she revealed this week that she is recovering from a stroke. Thankfully, there are no lasting damages on her brain function or her vision, and she is on the mend, and we send her our thoughts and best wishes. We will move on now to the red half of Manchester as United welcomed Everton to Leigh Sports Village. The visitors had failed to score in their last 3 league matches, while the hosts searched for a win to reclaim 4th spot on the table from Liverpool. Mark Scott watched this one.
Blundell back for Turner. Letitia. Oh, there's not enough on that. Snoyce is in and round Earps, and Everton have the early lead. Well, Letitia didn't put enough on this pass, did she? And Earps was never going to get there in time. Snoyce round the keeper and into the net. Zellum to take. Deep one, Turner's up there, and Turner scores just before the hour. Manchester United are level. And in the week that Turner was called up to the England squad, she's found the net as well. Garcia. Paris. Offloads to Blundell. First time ball in from her is interesting and off the bar. Yes. Finnegan away only as far as Toon. United have turned it around. 2 goals in 3 minutes. Jace did well to get it back into a dangerous area, and Toon eventually sorted out her feet to score. Aoife Mannion's kept that in. Cool though for Everton. Well, that's risky. Nelson, and still, and Toon surely. Ella Toon at the double, and Manchester United have breathing space now. That's 3 goals in 8 minutes to turn the game on its head, and that's easy as you like for Ella Toon. It's an outswinger. Hongar gets to it, Piemonte onto it. Still Piemonte, good hit, wonderful save by Earps. Great reactions there. Hongar aiming for Wheeler, but it's Ella Toon for Manchester United instead. Now Williams teeing up Leah Galton to put the icing on the cake. Manchester United hit 4, Leah Galton in what has turned out to be a comfortable win for United.
Consistency in football is the most important thing, because it breeds relationships, it breeds what that person knows. I know next, I know you can kind of play the game a step ahead. And we just haven't had that this year. And we got maybe lucky with that last year, where we didn't have as many injuries. But this year's just been, it's something we have to learn from. We have to continue to add to the depth of our players so that we can understand that. And it's something we're assessing as a club, and we'll look to be better at.
We had really good performance, but the result hasn't been with us. But at the end of the day, I look at performance, because over time, if you're performing well, you'll get results, and and that's the belief we have.
Comfortable in the end then for Manchester United, but in that first half, that goal, I mean, that defensive partnership, they'll be looking at this maybe sorely.
Yep, I think it's 2 defenders sitting here who are a bit like, oh, that was a bad one. But Laetitia, she's not under any pressure. It's just a real sloppy pass, and it's a good finish by the Everton striker. But you can see how angry Mary Earps is there. She's fuming, and that's because she's had a couple of those this season. I've watched previous games. I know Millie Turner's definitely done one. I'm pretty sure May Laetitia has had a similar mistake like that before. So, little mistakes like that at this level, you shouldn't really be making.
Yeah, it was interesting hearing, Mark Skinner talk about that consistency in those relationships and trying to kind of build that. It hasn't quite been where it was last season for them, but, when you have somebody like Ella Toon in the second half to really wrestle control of the game for them, you'll be thankful of that.
Yeah, and I think even talking about partnerships, I think Ella Toon's really missed Alessia Russo playing with her, and I think she's obviously had to play with different strikers for Man United this year, but I think obviously she takes a bit of a swipe with her left foot, it falls down nicely for her right foot, but she's in the positions, and you have to be there, you have to be alive, and I think she's had a bit more of a quieter season than her previous season before, but she's just in the right place at the right time, and hopefully for Man United's sake, those goals that she gets can give her even more confidence going forward.
So they're 4th in the table. They've jumped ahead of Liverpool in that kind of race for 4th between those 2 teams. But for Manchester United, disappointing season really for them.
I think it is. They'll only compare to last season and finishing in 2nd place. So for their standards, they definitely wanted to be higher, 2nd, if not winning the title. But they've obviously got a big game in the FA Cup to focus on after the international break. So I guess that's what their focus will be now. You should never give up on the league, but it's, you've got the 2 front runners running away with it. So, yeah, big game after the international break, and they've still got something to look forward to.
And what about Everton then, Gilly? What have you made of them this season?
To be fair, I think I've had a disappointing few seasons, and I think I took back to when I was at Arsenal. Like, Everton was always up there challenging. They pushed us all the way when I was at Arsenal, and it's sad, I think, to see where they are now. I think they should be aiming to be better than Liverpool. They should be up there fighting with Man United, because of the history that the club have had. But whether it be injuries, they've suffered a lot, recruitment, getting that DNA, getting that style, which I don't think they necessarily have at the moment. Obviously, they had a big investment come in as well, but they've just not really been able to push on.
OK, it's time now then to round up the remaining fixtures. We'll start with Leicester City, their first match since the dismissal of head coach Willie Kirk. They travel to Aston Villa, and Emma Jones talks us through the best of the action.
Aston Villa had won all 5 of their Barclays WSL meetings with Leicester City and dominated the opening exchanges against the Foxes on Saturday, taking the lead on the 26th minute through Adriana Leon. Their advantage was short-lived, however, as Lena Peterman's cutback found Yuka Momiki, whose composed finish wrong-footed Anna Leitz in the Villa goal. Jutta Rantanen then had a glorious chance to give the visitors the lead from close range, but her effort came back off the woodwork. After the break, Leicester dominated and were rewarded when Sam Tierney's glancing header from Mamiki's free kick trickled in off the back post. Villa were never out of the contest though and levelled through Rachel Daly with 15 minutes remaining, much to the frustration of the visitors who felt the England international was offside. It finished 2-2.
I think they had their moments and we had our moments, and 2-2. Is it fair? I actually thought we deserved it at times, and I'm sure they'll feel the same. But yeah, pretty even contest.
West Ham had won just one of their previous 15 Barclays WSL matches at home, but there was little to separate them from Brighton in a cagey first half. Rico Weki with perhaps the best chance from Anouk Denton's excellent cross. In a stop-start match, there wasn't much improvement after the break until Honoka Hayashi's volley forced Sophie Bagley into a fine save. That seemed to be the catalyst the game needed, as the visitors went close moments later when Katie Robinson found Madison Haley, but her shot deflected wide. Brighton felt they should have had a penalty when Vivian Asai collided with Jorleen Karabai, but the referee was quick to wave away their appeals. The visitors came close late on when Elizabeth Turland's shot deflected off Shelina Zadorsky onto her own post, but in the end there was nothing to separate the sides on an uneventful afternoon.
We had some big chances today. We've been working a lot on getting into good goal-scoring positions, and we did that today, but unfortunately we weren't able to take the chances, and we just needed a little bit of luck. I felt like we should have had a penalty in the second half as well, and if that's given and we score it, then obviously you probably come away 1-0 and are absolutely delighted. So, but a clean sheet is important for us. That's something that we've been working towards and focusing on.
So, Julie, vital points shared really for West Ham and Brighton in that one.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed a bit of a stale game anyway. Obviously I think a 0-0 draw. Brighton had big chances there, though, to put it away. And I think it's probably obviously they've got Turland, who's put a lot of goals away from them. But I think even in West Ham's situation, they've lacked putting the ball in the back of the net. So I think probably an even result there with a point each.
Yeah. For Leicester City, the players, an awful lot going on around the club at the moment, and I just wonder that run into the end of the season for Jennifer Foster in charge and the team now, how they can kind of deal with all that turmoil.
Yeah, I think I saw a social media post from them on the weekend about staying together and doing it for the group. I think as players, that's what happens. When there's other stuff going on in the background, you just focus on yourselves and doing it for the team. And ultimately for them, they've had a better season than last season. They're not in that relegation battle as such. They're clear. So I think for them now, they just want to continue to keep establishing themselves as a WSL club and keep striving for that.
And for Villa, considering the start to the season, they're grinding out, getting points, draws. It's on the up for them.
Yeah, and I think it doesn't help. I think when a club does really well, their standard expectations for the second season is always harder. So yeah, I think obviously it's important now that they are picking up points and they're picking up results, and they're going to want to finish as high as they possibly can.
OK, thank you very much for the moment. Let's take a look then at the Barclays Women's Super League table. Manchester City are top there. Chelsea do have a game in hand. Manchester United leapfrog Liverpool to claim back 4th place. The rest of the table is unchanged. West Ham a point closer to confirming safety. Bristol City have 5 games to try and salvage some desperate points to avoid the drop. Then in the Barclays Women's Championship, Sunderland continue their hunt for promotion to the WSL as they travel to relegation strugglers Watford. Jenna Deer's strike denied by the woodwork and tucked in to the back of the net by Emily Scarr on the rebound. Moments later, it was Scarr to convert the penalty for her second goal of the game. A 3-0 win for the Black Cats. Crystal Palace put on a 5-star display away to Durham. A brace for Emma Thompson ensured the win for Southampton against Lewis. A wonder strike from Kate Longhurst helped Charlton beat fellow title hopefuls Birmingham City 3-1. Sheffield United ended London City Lionesses' 3-match winning streak, a 2-1 victory there. And Blackburn Rovers hit 4 past Reading. So then, with just 2 match weeks left of the Championship, there are 5 teams in contention for promotion to the WSL. Sunderland leading the pack. Crystal Palace 1 point behind, do have a game in hand. Southampton and Charlton 4 points from the top. Birmingham are in 5th, 7 points from promotion. Lewis and Watford remain in the relegation places, with Reading hanging on to safety. Right, there's lots more sport to come here on the BBC. Live coverage of Netball Super League is on Friday evening on iPlayer. London Pulse hosting Strathclyde Sirens. And the British Swimming Championships, they start on Tuesday evening. That's also on iPlayer. And next Saturday at 8 o'clock on BBC 3, live Rugby League coverage of Catalan against St Helens. And Match of the Day rounds up the midweek Premier League action this Wednesday at 20 to 11 in the evening. That's on BBC One.
I love Match of the Day. I can watch it on my own TV. I can watch it on somebody else's TV. Yeah, I've been on Coach to London, and I can sit on Coach and watch it on Coach. And then this EastEnders, so far-fetched and dramatic, and I love that. And I love Kat. I'd like to be Kat's friend. Yeah.
Well, before we go, just a moment for Arsenal and a trophy and what this means for the season.
Yeah, no, congratulations to them. I think it should be called the Arsenal Cup. I've personally lost twice to Arsenal in a Continental Cup final, so yeah, I think that's just what it should be called going forward.
Yeah, and I think it was just important for them to get the result and bring the trophy back home. I think obviously the disappointment of potentially missing out on the WSL as well, it was key for them to bring it home.
OK. Keris, Gilly, thank you so much for your company. Thank you for watching. The quadruple hopes is over for Chelsea. Arsenal won the Conti Cup. Bye-bye.
The first trophy of the season will be won today. Here's Ramirez! No goal. We're back all square. Blackstenius!